Passengers stand frozen at the security checkpoint. A traveler watches as TSA agents unpack their carry-on bag, item by item, onto the inspection table. The line behind them grows longer. What seemed like a routine departure has turned into a public examination of personal belongings, and the clock continues to count down toward their boarding time. This scene now unfolds thousands of times each day at airports across the United States, and the reasons behind these delays have fundamentally changed. The Transportation Security Administration has implemented a series of modifications to carry-on screening procedures that took effect in phases throughout late 2025 and early 2026. These adjustments represent the most significant shift in passenger screening protocols in over a decade. Yet most travelers remain unaware of the specific triggers that cause bags to be flagged, pulled aside, and subjected to manual inspection. The consequences of this knowledge gap extend beyond missed flights. They include denied boarding, confiscated items that cannot be recovered, and in certain cases, escalated security interviews that can delay travel plans by hours. The detection systems have changed. Airport security scanners now operate with enhanced resolution capabilities. The new generation of computed tomography systems can identify materials and objects with precision that previous X-ray technology could not match. These machines analyze carry-on contents in 3 dimensions, creating detailed cross-sectional images that reveal not just the shape of items, but their density, composition, and molecular structure. This technology eliminates many false positives, but it also detects violations that older systems would have missed entirely. The implications affect common travel items. Electronic devices larger than a mobile phone must now be positioned in a specific orientation within the bag during screening. Lithium batteries, which power most modern electronics, trigger alerts when stacked together or placed near certain materials. Food items that contain high moisture content or dense ingredients create visual patterns on scans that resemble security threats. Personal care products, even those under the long-standing liquid limit, now face additional scrutiny based on their chemical composition rather than volume alone. Travelers who pack efficiently, filling every available space in their carry-on, inadvertently create screening challenges. Dense packing prevents the scanner from clearly distinguishing between items. When the system cannot identify objects with certainty, the bag automatically receives secondary screening. This process cannot be expedited. Each flagged item must be physically examined, and the passenger must be present during the inspection. Enforcement patterns have intensified. The regulatory approach to carry-on violations has shifted from discretionary to systematic. In previous years, TSA officers exercised judgment about borderline items. A slightly oversized liquid container might have been allowed through, or an electronic device in the wrong position might have warranted only a verbal reminder. That flexibility has diminished significantly. Screening officers now follow strict protocols with minimal deviation, and their decisions are supported by supervisor oversight and digital documentation systems. Airlines have simultaneously tightened their own carry-on enforcement at the gate. Size-checking fixtures appear more frequently at boarding areas. Bags that previously would have been allowed onto the aircraft now get tagged for gate check, sometimes incurring unexpected fees. The coordination between TSA screening standards and airline boarding policies has created a narrower margin for error. Items that pass security inspection can still face rejection at the gate if they exceed dimensional limits, or if overhead bin space becomes constrained on full flights. Repeat violations generate records in passenger screening databases. While these systems do not directly affect the ability to purchase tickets or travel, they can influence the level of scrutiny applied during subsequent airport visits. Passengers with multiple screening incidents may find themselves selected more frequently for additional inspection, extended questioning, or enhanced pat-down procedures. These selections appear random to the traveler, but follow algorithmic patterns based on historical data. The prohibited item list has expanded. Categories of items banned from carry-on luggage have grown beyond the familiar restrictions on weapons and hazardous materials. New additions reflect evolving security assessments and technological capabilities. Certain types of power banks, even those within the standard watt-hour limits, now fall under enhanced restrictions based on their manufacturing origin and certification markings. Tools that were previously acceptable in carry-on bags now exceed the permitted size thresholds by fractions of an inch, making casual interpretation of the rules insufficient. Sporting equipment faces stricter classification. Items with rigid components, sharp edges, or potential use as impact weapons receive closer examination regardless of their intended purpose. Self-defense items, including those marketed as legal in all 50 states, remain prohibited in the cabin under federal aviation regulations. The distinction between checked baggage rules and carry-on rules has widened, creating confusion for travelers who assume that items legal to transport in checked bags are equally acceptable in the cabin. International travelers encounter additional layers of complexity. Items permitted by TSA may violate regulations in connecting airports or destination countries. Medications require documentation that matches passenger names and prescription labels. Certain foods, plants, and biological products that pose no security threat still face confiscation due to agricultural or customs restrictions that activate during the security screening process. The cost of non-compliance. Missing a departure represents only the immediate consequence of a screening delay. Airlines have reduced the flexibility of their rebooking policies for passengers who miss flights due to security issues. Standby availability has contracted as load factors have increased across the industry. A missed connection can extend travel delays by an entire day, particularly on routes with limited flight frequency. Business commitments get abandoned. Vacation time gets consumed by airport hotels. Family events proceed without the delayed traveler in attendance. Confiscated items rarely return to their owners. The security checkpoint operates as a one-way threshold. Items surrendered during screening enter disposal systems with no recovery mechanism. Expensive electronics, prescription medications, sentimental objects, and professional tools disappear into bins marked for destruction or donation. Travelers cannot return to their vehicles to store flagged items when airports lack re-entry procedures. Shipping services at security checkpoints charge premium rates and offer no guarantee of delivery. Financial losses accumulate through multiple channels. Gate-checked bags incur fees that did not exist at the time of ticket purchase. Alternative flights cost more than original bookings. Ground transportation must be rescheduled. Hotel accommodations get reserved for unplanned overnight stays. Travel insurance policies contain exclusions for delays caused by passenger screening issues, leaving travelers to absorb these costs directly. The path to smooth transit. Understanding the screening environment transforms the travel experience from unpredictable to manageable. Preparation begins during the packing process, not at the airport. The TSA provides a digital tool that allows travelers to submit questions about specific items before departure. This "What can I bring" function delivers official determinations based on current regulations, eliminating guesswork about borderline items. Organization within the carry-on bag directly influences screening speed. Electronics should be accessible and separable. Liquids, gels, and aerosols belong in a clear, quart-sized bag, regardless of the airport's screening technology level. Dense items like books or metal objects should be distributed throughout the bag, rather than clustered in one area. Empty space between items assists scanner interpretation and reduces the likelihood of secondary screening. Arriving at the airport with expanded time margins accommodates unexpected screening delays without jeopardizing the departure. The traditional 2-hour recommendation for domestic flights now serves as a minimum rather than a generous buffer. International departures benefit from 3-hour advance arrivals. Peak travel periods, unfamiliar airports, and tight connections justify even greater time allowances. Moving forward. Aviation security continues to evolve in response to emerging threats and technological capabilities. The screening procedures in place today will undergo further refinement throughout 2026 and beyond. Travelers who monitor official TSA communications, understand current requirements, and adapt their preparation strategies maintain control over their airport experience. The choice between smooth transit and disruptive delays rests primarily with the passenger, determined by decisions made before leaving home. Those who treat security requirements as fixed parameters rather than negotiable inconveniences consistently move through checkpoints without incident, reaching their destinations as planned.